Hello humans and welcome back to another episode of RD2H, Road to Happiness Weekly Check-In. My AC is out right now and it is like 100 degrees in Los Angeles and I'm melting, hence the fan. But anyways, if you're new here, my name's Natalie. I basically document my growth journey as I graduated college, moved to Los Angeles, started a career in industrial real estate, and I'm on a path of growth that has taught me a lot. And I record my life lessons. That's essentially the podcast. So in the last couple of weeks, I've been drowning in a $15 million proposal for a multi-property portfolio in Vernon, California, and I have done everything in the book. I have cried. I have drank. I have thought I wasn't good enough, tried to quit, and every single time that I'm like, dude, I'm so overwhelmed, I keep getting back to work. And I have to be proud of myself on that. Because like today, dude, I didn't even go to work today. I called in sick because every time I walk into that office the last 2 weeks, my nervous system is just like sounding every single alarm. I don't want to be in the office. It's like I walk in and I'm just like automatically filled with anxiety. I'm behind. You're not gonna make it. You can't do this. Every doubt in the world. And it's like so loud that I can't work. So last night I called in sick and I literally just worked from home. And when I tell you the peace that I have felt just being at home today, like I enjoy my work. I genuinely enjoy my work. I love what I do. I have a passion for self-improvement, for growth, for, competing with myself every day, for, pushing myself past capacity. I love that shit. I love that shit, bro. Like, I love the hustle. I love the grind. I can't even lie. But I like it when it's coming from me, bro. Like, I like when I'm telling myself I could be better, when I'm pushing my capacity, when I'm choosing to work 12-hour days. Because, like, unlike most people, I don't need somebody to tell me to do something to go do it. But at work, it's just, like, so much pressure lately, and it's, like, the "you're not good enough" voice isn't coming from me, it's coming from everybody outside in the office. And I can't handle two voices. I can't handle myself putting pressure on me and other people putting pressure on me and being told that my best effort's not enough right now. Like, I can't do it, bro. Like, I'm literally one of the hardest working people, but I can't. My nervous system is on fire. And, like, it's one of those situations where you can't change it. Like, when you have a crappy professor that makes you want to like literally throw a rock at her window. Well, you can't change the fucking professor. You gotta pass the class. So it's like you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because there's no changing the circumstances and the external environment and the professor you have or the mentor you have or whatever it is that's the coach you have that's driving you absolutely bonkers. But you got to pass the exam, or you got to get the assignment done, or you have to, win the game because you love the sport. You're not going to let the coach stop you from playing the sport you love. So that's where I'm at right now. And I just need to, like, work from home because work's becoming so stressful that I can't do the thing I love. I can't do the thing I love because I'm so in my head. And as you've been seeing through these episodes, I'm trying to find every single way to learn how to control my emotions, to regulate better, to, continue walking the path to become a better version of me. Because if I can't handle or control the external environment, I can control my internal environment. But that's like literally tinkering with it every single day to figure out what works for you, what doesn't. Like the other day, I woke up in the morning before work. I took a walk. I walked for 30 minutes. There's a park next door. I went on a fucking swing set, bro. A swing set before work. I'm like, I'm trying to find peace, bro. Like, I'm trying to walk in with a clear head. I went and I just swung like a 5-year-old at 6:30 in the morning, trying to find my zen before I walked into the office. Within 2 hours of walking into the office, that zen was gone. And then yesterday, this one's funny. Yesterday, I went to the gym because I was like, okay, I gotta find my zen. Like, I gotta get this stress off me, and the best way to relieve stress is to sweat it out. So I went to the gym, and while I'm sitting in the sauna, some girl comes up to me, and she's like, dude, your keys just got jacked. And I'm like, what? And so I get up, my keys got jacked, like my car keys. And she's like, the girl who took your keys is right there hiding in the corner, like she hasn't left the locker room yet. So I walk up to this, like, I'm sorry, crackhead, I'm in Los Angeles, like, that just stole my keys. And I'm like, yo, do you have my keys? And she looks at me with a dead ass straight face. And she's like, no. And I said, they just saw you take my keys. Like, I'm chill, but can I get my fucking keys back? And she dead ass, bro, reached into her bag, like she was looking for something, and pulled out my keys. Like, she pulled out my keys. My keys got jacked. So yeah, when you're in a rock and a hard place, back to the original point of the episode, I've been trying to do everything I can, regulate my stress, like find triggers, find outlets, go to the gym, go on walks. Like, it's just not working. And then today it got so overwhelming that I didn't want to go to work. And I love work. I love my office. I love the people that I work with. I love what I do. I love that I get to do what I do every day. Every day is a blessing, even in the hard parts, even when it's challenging, even when it pushes me past capacity. I'm doing what I love to do. Okay? And so for me not to want to go to work, I am at fucking limit, bro. I am at a stress limit. I am at my capacity. I'm being stretched too far. Okay, so I stayed home today. I worked from home. I found Zen for the first time in a while, and I got more work done than I have in a while because I'm just so stressed out when I'm in that office. And so it got me thinking that there's a difference between, like, burnout, bad stress, and good stress, even though in the moment, kind of feel the fucking same, okay? There is a difference. Like, if you are going to work every single day and you're having an anxiety attack and you are crying in the bathroom all the time and you are, like, so stressed out about your performance that you're taking it home every single day, you're going and doing, like, fun things, not just to do fun things, but to create more space to work, that could be seen as a toxic environment, right? Okay? The first thing anybody's gonna say when they hear that is, you need to quit that job, or you need to not do that thing. But I think it's a completely different, like, type of stress when you love what you do, when you're like passionate about it. Because if you told, like, a pro football player or a pro soccer player or a pro whatever, a pro athlete, okay, if you told them, bro, like, you're crying in the locker room because you're so disappointed in your, like, game time, that's pathetic. Like, you wouldn't say that to them. You wouldn't say, dude, you're, like, planning every single meal and all of your break times and rest times on optimal performance so that you can play better in the game. Quick clarification, because I don't think I hit this. When an athlete's, like, crying in the locker room, like, you don't expect them to not be able to handle that forever. But, like, first pressure, first big game, first MLB tournament, whatever, right? But the entire, like, mindset of an athlete is learning how to regulate emotions, tolerate stress, and make decisions during, like, high pressure moments. And, like, that is a skill that an athlete builds. Like, an MLB player is going to be able to handle those emotions, is going to be able to handle that stress after a decade since he was 12 years old playing little leagues, learning how to, you know, keep his head on straight in the game, learning that skill. Like, you wouldn't tell a pro athlete that they're pushing themselves past their capacity and they're doing too much and, like, they need to take their head off the game. Like, you wouldn't say that because it's just more socially acceptable when you're a pro athlete, right? But, like, I approach my work in the same way that an athlete approaches a sport because they don't just want to win the game, they want to win the game against themselves. They want to be a better athlete than they were yet last year. They want to perform at the, like, peak that they know that they're capable of getting to. They want to be the best because every single sweat and tear that they put on practice means something to them, and they're seeing themselves evolve through the sport, and they're seeing themselves become a better athlete, a better person, a, you know, more disciplined person, a stronger person, and that sport isn't giving them those characteristics. Okay, when we boil down a sport, what are you doing? You're throwing a ball across a freaking football field. Nobody gives a fuck. Okay, you're, like, kicking a ball into a net. Who cares? All right, you're running fast for human speed. All right, it's not impressive because of the action that you're doing. It's impressive because of the self-sacrifice and growth and discipline and consistency and reoccurrence that each and every single one of us as human beings knows is what it takes to become one of the greats, is to become one of those athletes. We recognize how much effort it takes and how much perseverance they have, and we admire that because we all know what it's like to give our most to something. We all know what that takes out of us, and so we, use athletes as the simplest example. We look up to them because of what they represent, not because they threw a ball really far. So for me, I look at my job in the same way, where I'm learning stress capacities, I'm like growing and I'm becoming better, and I'm learning that sometimes there are challenges ahead of us that bring us to that mental breakdown, that bring us to that crying in the bathroom, that bring us to that crying in the locker room, or etc. I said crying a lot, bro. I've been doing a shit ton of crying, okay? But there are things that are challenging in our life that push us to that breaking that point, that push us to that capacity. And some of those things, sure, they're toxic. Some of those things are self-inflicted. Some of those things aren't helping you grow. And it's having the intuition to know the difference between them. But some of those things are pushing you right past that new version of yourself that's capable of carrying things that you weren't able to carry before. Because like right now with this proposal, I've spent the last 2 weeks absolutely spiraling. Every single time I've spiraled, I've sat back, I've worked, I've failed again, I spiraled, I sat back, I worked, I failed again, I spiraled, I sat back, I worked, I failed again, I spiraled, and I just kept doing that. And it's like, I think I know how to underwrite now. And it sucked. The whole time I was crying, I was freaking out, I was spiraling, I was like, I'm in over my head, and I think I learned a skill. I think I'm better at my crafts right now after like freaking literally getting to the point where I had to call off work sick than I was before. And from the outside, you might look at that and say, she's not, like, she can't handle the pressure, or that job is toxic, or, maybe this isn't the field for you, or whatever the fuck you want to say from the outside, whatever's negative that comes to mind. But from the inside, I'm a stronger person than I was 2 weeks ago, because I was put into a situation where there was nobody helping me, and I had to figure it out. I had to figure it the fuck out, and I had to fail, and I had to fail, and I had to fail, and I had to keep going. And during that entire process, I was so mad at everybody, and I was so mad at the world, and I was so in over my head. But how are you ever not going to be in and over your head if you're not in over your head? If you can't conquer the challenge that's when it's ahead of you, and you're sinking, and you're drowning, and there's water in your lungs, and you're kicking anyway, then how are you going to learn to swim? How are you going to learn to swim? So I'm looking at, like, the last 2 weeks, and they sucked. Like, I have been at max capacity. I am handling right now what I can't handle. I can't handle anymore. I'm not that person yet. That doesn't mean I can't become that person. And becoming that person is going to take a lot more trial and error of hitting my capacity, hitting my stress limits, crying in the locker room, and, manufacturing a life that helps me to get to the person that I want to be, because this is my sport. I'm treating life like a freaking sport right now, bro. I'm treating my job like a sport. I'm treating my self-discipline like a sport. I'm treating my growth process like a sport. Like, this is what I want. And there's going to be days where practice leaves me in tears. There's going to be days where I'm in over my head and I'm against the team that I know is way better than me. But I'm still going to try to win. And there's just going to be times that things feel like there's no out. Like right now, there's no one to turn to, there's no one to help, there was no guidance to get. It was just sink or swim, figure it out. And while I'm drowning, obviously it sucks, and I'm trying to like reach for anything I can. But after I start kicking and I realize I floated to the water and I'm swimming, I'm so much more proud because I'm swimming. I'm swimming. Nobody helped me. Nobody held my hand, and I'm swimming. And that feeling of, self-conquerance and improvement, and wait, I'm handling something I couldn't handle 2 weeks ago. Wait, I'm dealing with challenges and, moving through my emotions and situations in ways that I couldn't years ago. I'm living a life that I couldn't handle before, and it's through like those moments where I feel like I'm drowning that I'm actually learning to swim. And that's pretty fucking cool. That's pretty fucking cool. A perfect example too is like, I'm terrible with directions. Terrible. Awful. Like, without Google Maps, bro, I would not get anywhere. I don't know how the people in the 1960s 1900s. Like, yo, meet me past the river at a tree that's just slightly bent over, go about 2 more acres and then make a right and you'll be at my house. Like, bro, I'd be like, yo, I'm never getting to your house. We don't need to hang out that bad. I would never survive. No cognitive map. And I went to the gas station to get a drink right after, because I needed a break from working and it's so hot in my apartment. So I went to the gas station to get a drink and my phone was at 2%. I thought, why don't I just leave my phone here to charge and I can figure it out. I get to the gas station. It's literally 2 stop signs, make a right. Straight gas station. That's it. On the way back, I got lost in the neighborhood. And I'm walking around this neighborhood for like what seems like forever. And it's like 100 degrees out and it's so hot. And I asked 3 people, hey, do you know where the park is? Because I know my apartment's next to the park. Hey, do you know where the park is? They're like, go blah, 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 blah. I'm like, great. I get lost again. I'm like, hey, do you know where the park is? They're like, this way, this way. I'm like, great. I keep going. I get lost again. I did that 3 times until I eventually found the park. And at one point it got so hot and I'm like so tired of walking that I sat down. And I'm like, wow, I literally can't have directions to save my life. I'm so bad at this, blah, blah, blah. All the negative things that come into our mind when we hit a period where we're lost, where we don't know our way and where we feel incapable of getting ourselves out of the situation. All the negative things. I can't do it. I suck. I'm terrible. I'm whatever you want to put the word I'm before. All the negative thoughts that come when we're stuck in a situation we don't know how to get out of, right? And then I sat down and I thought about it and I said, I like to connect little moments in my life to bigger ones. So I said this proposal was something we didn't think we could get out of, and through failure and failure and failure, we've learned how to read properties, how to pick the right ones, and we put together a proposal. I said, this walk is no different. We're in a new neighborhood. I just moved here. I don't know the neighborhood. And it's through walking the neighborhoods, getting lost. And when you are in a period of being lost and you're in a period of complicated things and you're in a period of trying to get yourself out of something, your memory is more in tune. Because when you know where you're going, when I know where I'm driving, for example, and I'm driving down a street and I have Google Maps, I'm not going to remember how to get there without Google Maps because I'm just mindlessly driving and following Google Maps. But when you take Google Maps away and I take 10 wrong turns and I finally find where I'm going, I remember which turns were wrong, I remember which ones were right, and I could get there without any maps because I already did. And I already learned. So our brains are more active when we're forced into a situation that we're not in autopilot. When you're not in autopilot, it feels like force. It feels like you can't do it. It feels difficult. It feels like everything's collapsing because you have to manually drive the fucking car. You have to manually handle your actions. You have to manually use more brain width to do something. When you're studying for an exam, we think that we can't do it and it sucks and it's hard because you're manually trying to remember the input. Where when you're just getting the answers off of an exam, you're not learning anything because you're on autopilot. You don't need to understand. So when we're trying to understand, it's so much more difficult and it puts me in places where I have a very negative mind space. But then once I finally do understand, once we do understand, we realize that it was the hard part that led to the understanding. It was the getting lost in my neighborhood, my new neighborhood, that leads to knowing the streets and that leads to like knowing my way around. It was the drowning in the proposal and having no idea what I was doing and freaking out about it for 2 weeks that has led to me now having an underwriting skill. You know, it's a lot of the times the things that we think are negative and think are the problem that are leading us to the solution and the versions of ourselves that can, you know, carry it. The version of ourselves that can drive without the maps. The version of ourselves that knows the neighborhood. The version of ourselves that can do a $15 million proposal. It's in the failure that we succeed. So that's today's food for thought. Anyways, I love you guys. RD2H Road to Happiness, building our dream realities one life lesson at a time. I'll see you for another week. Bye. Okay, bonus clip, because I'm literally back at the office right now, even though I called off today. It's 9 p.m. I literally stayed home all day. I'm in the office because I cannot escape. I cannot get out. I needed better Wi-Fi to publish an episode. But on the way here, I stopped at my smoke shop and they gave me a little sticker that literally said you can do it, and it got me thinking, a little bonus thought about the fact that our brains, when we approach new situations and we approach new challenges, are constantly looking for proof and evidence from past experiences that we're able to actually accomplish those goals that we set out to do, right? So when you're doing something new, like in uncharted territory, the anxiety, the uncertainty, the fear that you can't do it is a lack of confidence. Because your brain is searching for proof in your past experiences that you have been able to accomplish something of a similar magnitude, and it can't find anything because it's a new thing, it's a new skill. So then it freaks out, it panics under uncertainty, and it basically overloads the nervous system and looks at it as danger. But in reality, you're not going to have proof that you can do a thing until you do it. That's why with every rep you get more confident, you get better, your brain starts picking apart what could improve, because it's no longer a fear of can you do this thing, it's how do you get better at it. But in order to do that, you have to break that learner's barrier. You have to break through the I've never done this thing and give your brain proof that you're capable of doing it. That's also why confidence is built off being able to accomplish hard things. The more hard things that you accomplish, every time a new hard thing comes your way, your brain's automatically going to say, well, there were other times where I thought I couldn't do it. There were other times where I thought I was out of my depths. There were other times where, I didn't think it was going to work out, and it did. So this time should probably be similar, right? I could figure it out. And that's where confidence comes from. So if you want more confidence, if you want more skill, if you want to be able to do hard things, you got to start by getting through that learner's barrier, through doing the hard thing, giving your brain some evidence that you don't quit when things get difficult. And your brain feeds off that. Every single time it will feed off of that. So that was my driving to the office thought so I could publish an episode. So bonus track there. Anyways, love you guys. Bye for real this time.